God says, "My child, pause for a moment and breathe, because something gentle and meaningful is happening around you right now, even if you cannot see it with your eyes." Somewhere, in this exact moment, someone has folded their hands and spoken your name in a quiet prayer. They did not announce it. They did not post it. They did not even tell anyone they were thinking about you. Yet their heart leaned toward you, and their words rose softly into the unseen. This is not coincidence. This is not imagination. This is the quiet language of love and care moving through the world in ways that are often invisible but always powerful. You were not meant to hear this by accident. This message found you because your spirit is ready to receive reassurance, not fear, not urgency, but calm truth. Someone is praying for you because you matter more than you realize, and because your presence in this world has touched lives in ways you may never fully measure. They are praying not because you are weak, but because they see your strength and want it protected. They are praying because they sense you have been carrying more than you speak about. They are praying because even strong souls need covering, encouragement, and light. My child, there are moments when heaven listens more closely, not because you are in danger, but because you are at a turning point of growth. This moment is important not because something bad is coming, but because something gentle is unfolding. There is a shift happening within you, slow and steady, like the soft change of seasons that does not announce itself with noise. You may feel quieter than usual. You may feel reflective. You may feel like you are standing between who you were and who you are becoming. That is not confusion. That is alignment. The prayer spoken for you is not begging, not fear-filled, and not desperate. It is calm. It is sincere. It is filled with hope. It is the kind of prayer that asks for peace, clarity, and guidance to surround you. Someone asked that your heart remain soft even after everything it has endured. Someone asked that your path feel lighter. Someone asked that you stop doubting yourself so much. And my child, those prayers are not ignored. They move gently, like wind through leaves, like warmth through cold air, settling exactly where they are needed. You have been doing better than you think. Even on days when you feel behind, even when you feel tired, even when you feel unsure, you are still moving forward. Growth does not always feel exciting. Sometimes it feels quiet. Sometimes it feels like stillness. Sometimes it feels like resting without understanding why. But rest is not failure. Silence is not emptiness. Waiting is not being forgotten. Someone praying for you right now senses that you are close to understanding something important about yourself. They sense that you are learning how to trust your own heart again. They sense that you are becoming more honest with yourself about what you need, what you deserve, and what you no longer want to carry. My child, you are not alone in this process. Even when you sit quietly with your thoughts, unseen support surrounds you. The prayer spoken for you is not meant to control your future or force an outcome. It is meant to protect your peace. It is meant to remind you that you are held, guided, and valued. You do not need to rush. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to fear missing out. What is meant for you will move toward you naturally, without pressure, without chaos, without confusion. This moment is important because it is inviting you to slow down and notice how far you have come. Notice how your reactions have changed. Notice how your boundaries are clearer. Notice how you are learning to choose yourself without guilt. These are signs of growth that often go unnoticed, but they matter deeply. Someone praying for you sees these changes, even if they never say it aloud. They see your resilience. They see your sincerity. They see your effort to remain kind in a world that often rewards hardness. And they ask that kindness be returned to you in ways that feel gentle and real. My child, you are not late. You are not behind schedule. You are not failing. You are unfolding. And unfolding takes time. There is no need to compare your path with anyone else's. Your journey is designed uniquely for you. The prayer spoken for you aligns with this truth. It asks that you trust the timing of your life. It asks that doubt loosen its grip on your mind. It asks that you feel supported even when you cannot name the source of that support. And here you are, hearing this message, feeling something settle within you, perhaps without fully understanding why. That is because truth does not always arrive loudly. Sometimes it arrives softly, like a gentle reminder that you are exactly where you need to be. My child, let this moment be one of calm acknowledgement. You are cared for. You are thought of. You are supported in ways that extend beyond what you can see. You do not need to change who you are to be worthy of prayer. You do not need to struggle to earn care. Simply being you is enough. Allow this reassurance to rest in your heart. Let it quiet the unnecessary worries. Let it remind you that life is not only about effort, but also about receiving. And as you move forward from this moment, do so with a little more ease, a little more trust, and a little more gentleness toward yourself. You are not walking alone. You never were. And you never will be, God says, my child, as you continue listening, let your heart stay open, because there is more peace meant to settle within you right now. The fact that you are still here, still listening, still feeling something gently move inside you, is itself a sign that your soul recognizes truth when it hears it. Someone praying for you did not ask for dramatic changes or sudden miracles. They asked for something far more meaningful. They asked that your inner world feel safer. They asked that your thoughts become kinder toward yourself. They ask that you stop carrying guilt for things that were never meant to be yours. My child, you have spent a long time being strong for others, understanding for others, patient for others. You listened even when you were tired. You stayed calm even when you felt overwhelmed. You gave grace even when you were not receiving it back. And now, this moment is gently turning the focus back to you. This is not selfishness. This is restoration. The prayer spoken for you is slowly untangling the knots you have held quietly inside. You may notice small shifts. You may feel less reactive. You may feel more grounded. You may suddenly feel the urge to release old expectations. These are not random feelings. They are signs that your spirit is aligning with peace again. My child, the person praying for you sees your heart more clearly than you think. They see how deeply you feel things. They see how carefully you choose your words. They see how you avoid hurting others even when you yourself are hurting. That is why their prayer is gentle. That is why it carries sincerity instead of urgency. They are not asking for you to become someone else. They are asking that you finally feel safe being who you already are. This moment is important because it is reminding you that you do not have to earn rest. You do not have to justify your emotions. You do not have to explain your sensitivity. Sensitivity is not weakness. It is awareness. It is depth. It is the ability to sense what others overlook. And my child, that depth is precious. You were never meant to harden yourself to survive. You were meant to learn discernment without losing softness. The prayer surrounding you right now is helping you do exactly that. You may not hear voices. You may not see signs. But you will feel a quiet confidence beginning to form. A confidence that does not need validation. A confidence that does not argue. A confidence that simply knows. Someone praying for you has asked that you trust this quiet knowing more than external noise. They ask that you stop doubting your intuition. They ask that you recognize when something no longer aligns with your peace. My child, you are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to grow beyond old versions of yourself. You are allowed to walk away from what drains you without explaining everything. Growth often looks like silence before it looks like movement. And silence is where clarity is born. This message is reaching you now because you are learning to listen inwardly again. You are learning that not every answer needs to be chased. Some answers arrive when you stop running. The prayer spoken for you is creating space in your life. Space to breathe. Space to choose. Space to receive. And in that space, things will begin to make sense without force. My child, notice how your heart feels right now. There is no rush. There is no pressure. There is no fear attached to this moment. That is how you know it is real. Truth does not shout. It reassures. It steadies. It feels calm even when it brings change. Someone praying for you understands this. They are not asking for instant outcomes. They are asking for steady peace to walk beside you. They are asking that you remain protected from unnecessary emotional weight. They are asking that you stop blaming yourself for delays that were part of your preparation. Nothing in your life has been wasted. Even the pauses had purpose. Even the waiting shaped you. Even the moments of doubt taught you discernment. My child, you are becoming someone who no longer abandons themselves to keep others comfortable. And that shift, though quiet, is powerful. This moment is important because it marks the beginning of that self-respect settling deeply within you. You will start choosing environments that feel safe. You will start valuing your energy more carefully. You will start speaking less but meaning more. These are signs of inner maturity, not distance. Someone praying for you asked that you be guided toward what feels peaceful, not just what looks impressive. And that guidance is already working. You may notice that certain situations no longer pull at you the way they used to. You may notice that you feel less attached to outcomes. That is not detachment from life. That is trust. My child, you are learning that life does not need to be forced to flow. When you align with peace, things come together naturally. And even when challenges appear, they no longer shake your core. The prayer spoken for you is strengthening that core quietly. You are supported in ways you cannot see, by intentions you may never hear spoken aloud. Let this knowledge rest gently within you. Let it remind you that you are seen, valued, and cared for beyond surface interactions. And as you continue forward, carry this calm with you. Carry the understanding that you do not walk alone. Carry the assurance that this moment mattered, because it reminded you of who you are becoming. And who you are becoming is grounded, aware, peaceful, and deeply supported. God says, "My child, stay here with me for a little longer, because what is unfolding now is not meant to rush past you, it is meant to settle gently into your heart." There are moments when the soul recognizes truth not through excitement, but through calm familiarity, and if you are still listening, it means something inside you already knows this message is for you. Someone praying for you right now did not ask that your life become perfect. They asked that your heart feel lighter. They asked that the quiet weight you have been carrying finally loosen. They asked that you remember who you were before the world asked you to be so much for everyone else. My child, you have grown in silence. You have healed in ways no one applauded. You have learned restraint, patience, and understanding through experiences that did not come with instructions. And still, you chose kindness. Still, you chose integrity. Still, you chose to move forward even when you were unsure of the direction. That is why this moment matters. Not because something dramatic is about to happen, but because something deep is already changing within you. The prayer spoken for you is not loud. It is steady. It is consistent. It is the kind of prayer that stays, even when circumstances shift. It asks that you trust yourself again. It asks that you stop questioning your worth based on outcomes. It asks that you remember that your value was never tied to how much you give, how much you endure, or how much you sacrifice. My child, you are allowed to receive ease. You are allowed to experience peace without earning it through exhaustion. The reason you may feel drawn to stay with this message is because your spirit is recognizing permission. Permission to slow down. Permission to stop carrying what does not belong to you. Permission to believe that your life does not need constant struggle to be meaningful. Someone praying for you understands that you are not broken. You were simply tired. And tiredness can blur perspective. It can make you doubt your progress. It can make you forget your strength. This moment is gently clearing that fog. You may begin to notice that your thoughts feel softer. That your breathing feels deeper. That your mind is not racing as much. These are signs of alignment returning. Not everything has to be solved today. Not every question needs an answer right now. Some clarity arrives only when the heart feels safe enough to listen. And right now, safety is being restored. My child, the prayer spoken for you is also asking that you release comparison. Your path is not delayed. Your timing is not wrong. What unfolds slowly often lasts longer. What grows quietly often has deeper roots. You are not meant to chase what is meant for you. It will meet you where you are, when you are ready to receive it without fear. This is why the tone of this moment feels calm instead of urgent. Truth does not pressure. Truth reassures. Someone praying for you wants you to know that it is okay to let go of the version of yourself that was always bracing for impact. You no longer need to expect disappointment. You no longer need to stay guarded at all times. Discernment does not require constant defense. It requires awareness. And awareness is something you already carry naturally. My child, you are learning to trust that awareness again. You are learning that peace is not boring, it is grounding. That stability is not stagnation, it is safety. That gentleness does not make you weak, it makes you resilient in a different way. The prayer spoken for you is reinforcing these truths quietly, patiently, without force. You may not notice everything changing at once, but over time you will realize that your reactions are calmer. Your decisions are clearer. Your boundaries are firmer without being harsh. This is growth that lasts. This is maturity of the soul. This moment is important because it marks a return to yourself. A version of you that does not over-explain. A version of you that does not chase validation. A version of you that knows when to rest and when to move. Someone praying for you sees this version emerging. They are not trying to control your future. They are simply asking that you walk it with confidence instead of doubt. My child, let this message be a place where you pause and feel supported. Let it remind you that you do not have to figure everything out alone. Even unseen prayers can strengthen you. Even quiet intentions can shift your inner world. And as you continue forward after this moment, carry the understanding that you are deeply cared for, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. You are allowed to move gently through life. You are allowed to trust that what is meant for you will arrive without chaos. You are allowed to believe that peace is not something you will lose once you find it. Stay present with this feeling. Let it settle. Let it ground you. This moment mattered because it reminded you that you are supported, guided, and never forgotten, even in the quiet chapters of your life. God says, my child, remain with this moment just a little longer, because there is a reason your heart feels quietly attentive right now, as if it does not want to rush away. Some moments are not meant to excite the mind but to steady the soul, and this is one of them. Someone praying for you understands something very personal about you. They understand that you often appear calm on the outside while processing deeply on the inside. They understand that you rarely ask for help, not because you do not need it, but because you have learned to manage on your own. Their prayer is not about fixing you. It is about reminding you that you do not have to carry everything by yourself anymore. My child, there are layers of strength within you that were built quietly, without recognition. You learned how to pause instead of react. You learned how to walk away instead of argue. You learned how to sit with unanswered questions without letting them harden your heart. These lessons were not easy, but they shaped you into someone who now carries wisdom instead of resentment. This moment is important because it honors that growth. It acknowledges the effort you made even when no one was watching. The prayer spoken for you is gentle because it respects your journey. It asks that your next steps feel lighter than your previous ones. It asks that you stop replaying old conversations in your mind. It asks that you forgive yourself for moments when you did not know better. My child, self-forgiveness is not forgetting. It is releasing the burden of constant self-judgment. And right now, that release is beginning. You may notice that you feel less tense. You may notice that your thoughts are slower, clearer. That is not emptiness. That is peace making space for clarity. Someone praying for you asked that clarity come without confusion, without pressure, without urgency. They ask that you recognize your own worth without needing external confirmation. This is why this message does not rush you. Truth never rushes. It waits until you are ready to receive it calmly. My child, you are allowed to take your time becoming who you are meant to be. Growth is not a race. It is a rhythm. And your rhythm is steady, intentional, and sincere. The prayer surrounding you right now supports that rhythm. It does not demand change. It encourages trust. Trust in your instincts. Trust in your pace. Trust in your ability to choose what aligns with your peace. You have reached a stage where your soul values calm more than chaos, understanding more than noise, and depth more than attention. That is not withdrawal. That is refinement. Someone praying for you recognizes this refinement and asks that you honor it instead of questioning it. My child, you do not need to be louder to be seen. You do not need to explain yourself to everyone. You do not need to justify your boundaries. The right people, the right moments, and the right opportunities will meet you where you are, not where you pretend to be. This moment is important because it is gently shifting how you see yourself. You are no longer defined by what you tolerated. You are defined by what you choose now. You are learning that peace is a form of success. That rest is a form of strength. That stillness is not stagnation but preparation. Someone praying for you asked that you stop underestimating the power of your presence. You carry a calming energy that others feel even when you say nothing. You bring steadiness into spaces simply by being authentic. That is a gift, my child. And gifts are not meant to be hidden or doubted. They are meant to be accepted with humility and confidence. The prayer spoken for you is helping you accept yourself more fully. You may feel a quiet sense of reassurance settling in. You may feel less need to rush toward the next thing. That is because alignment does not feel hurried. It feels grounded. My child, let this moment remind you that you are not behind. You are not missing out. You are not falling short. You are arriving, slowly, intentionally, and with awareness. Someone praying for you believes in the version of you that is emerging now. A version that listens more than reacts. A version that chooses peace without guilt. A version that trusts the process without fear. This message is reaching you because you are ready to embody that version fully. Let the reassurance stay with you after this moment ends. Carry it into your day. Carry it into your decisions. Carry it into how you speak to yourself. You are supported in ways you may never fully see, by prayers you may never hear spoken aloud. And that support does not fade when this message ends. It continues quietly, steadily, faithfully. Stay present with that truth. Let it anchor you. Let it remind you that your life is unfolding exactly as it should, with care, intention, and unseen grace surrounding you every step of the way. God says, "My child, stay with this feeling a little longer, because sometimes the most meaningful moments are the ones that do not rush past but quietly remain." If you are still listening, it is not because you were told to, but because something within you feels understood here. Someone praying for you senses this about you. They sense that you are someone who listens deeply, who reflects quietly, who does not need constant noise to feel alive. Their prayer is not dramatic or demanding. It is steady, patient, and sincere. They ask that you feel supported even when life feels ordinary. They ask that peace not feel temporary for you, but familiar. My child, you have reached a stage where your soul no longer seeks constant excitement, but meaningful alignment. You have learned that calm does not mean nothing is happening. Often, calm is when the most important inner shifts take place. This moment is important because it is allowing you to recognize that you are changing in ways that are healthy and lasting. You are learning to pause before reacting. You are learning to choose words carefully. You are learning to protect your energy without guilt. These changes may seem small, but they are shaping the quality of your future. Someone praying for you understands that your growth is quiet by nature. They understand that you do not announce your progress. You simply live it. And that is why their prayer asks that you trust your inner voice more than external opinions. My child, there were times when you questioned yourself unnecessarily. Times when you wondered if you were doing enough, being enough, moving fast enough. Those questions did not come from truth. They came from pressure. And pressure is slowly releasing its hold on you now. You are beginning to understand that your worth is not measured by urgency or comparison. It is measured by sincerity, by intention, by the way you show up even when no one is watching. The prayer spoken for you is helping you remember this. It is gently reminding you that you are allowed to exist without constantly proving yourself. You are allowed to enjoy moments without justifying them. You are allowed to rest without feeling behind. This moment is important because it is teaching you how to receive without resistance. Receiving calm. Receiving reassurance. Receiving the idea that life does not always need to feel heavy to be meaningful. Someone praying for you asks that your heart remain open without being vulnerable to unnecessary hurt. That balance is something you are learning naturally now. You are becoming more discerning without becoming closed. You are becoming more confident without becoming rigid. You are becoming more peaceful without becoming distant. These are signs of emotional maturity that cannot be rushed. My child, you are also learning that not everything needs an immediate response. Silence can be powerful. Stillness can be healing. Space can be clarifying. The prayer surrounding you right now supports this understanding. It asks that you feel comfortable choosing calm over chaos, even when chaos is louder. You may notice that you are less drawn to drama, less interested in proving points, less affected by things that once disturbed your peace. That is not indifference. That is growth. This moment is important because it marks your transition from survival to stability. You are no longer just enduring life. You are beginning to experience it with awareness. Someone praying for you sees this transition and asks that you move through it with confidence instead of doubt. They ask that you stop revisiting old versions of yourself with judgment. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. Growth does not require punishment. It requires understanding. My child, understanding is becoming one of your strongest qualities. You are learning to see situations clearly without taking everything personally. You are learning to accept people as they are without abandoning yourself. This balance is rare, and it is valuable. The prayer spoken for you is protecting this balance. It is asking that you remain grounded even as your life expands in new ways. Expansion does not always look like sudden change. Sometimes it looks like feeling more settled in who you are. Feeling less anxious about what is next. Feeling more present in what is now. This message is reaching you because you are ready to trust that presence. You are ready to believe that your life does not need constant struggle to move forward. My child, let this moment reassure you that you are on the right path, even if that path feels quiet. Quiet paths often lead to the most stable destinations. You do not need to announce your direction. You only need to walk it with integrity. Someone praying for you asks that you continue to do exactly that. And as you continue, know that support surrounds you in ways you may never fully see. Prayers spoken in silence still carry power. Intentions held with love still create movement. You are not forgotten in quiet seasons. You are being prepared. Let this understanding stay with you after this moment ends. Let it shape how you speak to yourself. Let it guide how you respond to life. You are deeply supported, gently guided, and exactly where you need to be. Remain with that truth. Let it anchor you. This moment mattered because it reminded you that you are not alone, not rushed, and not unseen. You are becoming, and that becoming is unfolding with care. God says, my child, let yourself stay present in this calm space, because there are moments when peace itself becomes the message, and this is one of those moments. You are not here by accident, and you are not listening because something is missing in you, but because something within you is ready to settle. Someone praying for you understands that you are not chasing noise anymore. You are seeking clarity, balance, and a sense of quiet confidence that does not depend on external approval. Their prayer reflects that understanding. It asks that your days feel steady rather than overwhelming. It asks that your nights feel restful rather than heavy with thought. My child, you have already learned many lessons through experience, not through explanation. You have learned that not everyone who speaks loudly is certain. You have learned that not every pause is a setback. You have learned that walking away can sometimes be an act of wisdom, not weakness. This moment is important because it honors that understanding. It reminds you that growth does not always announce itself with big changes. Sometimes growth is simply feeling more at ease with who you are. Someone praying for you sees that ease slowly returning to you. They see how you are becoming more comfortable in your own presence. They see how you are beginning to trust your decisions instead of second-guessing them. And their prayer gently supports this shift. My child, you are allowed to enjoy calm without waiting for the next challenge. You are allowed to feel content without explaining why. You are allowed to exist in a season where things are simple, steady, and meaningful. The reason this message feels soothing instead of intense is because truth does not need intensity to be effective. Truth settles quietly. It reassures rather than alarms. You may notice that as you listen, your body feels more relaxed. Your breathing feels natural. Your thoughts slow down. This is not accidental. This is alignment. Someone praying for you asked that alignment replace unnecessary tension in your life. They ask that you feel safe trusting the pace at which things are unfolding. My child, you have spent enough time feeling like you needed to hurry, to catch up, to prove something. That season is easing. You are learning that your value is not tied to speed. It is tied to sincerity and intention. The prayer spoken for you is gently reinforcing that truth. It is reminding you that you do not need to force clarity. Clarity arrives when the mind is calm enough to recognize it. This moment is important because it is giving you permission to slow down without guilt. To reflect without overthinking. To listen without needing immediate answers. Someone praying for you understands that your strength lies in your awareness. You notice things others overlook. You feel things deeply but thoughtfully. You process before you act. These qualities may not always be praised, but they are valuable. They shape decisions that last. They create stability rather than chaos. My child, you are entering a phase where stability matters more to you than excitement. Where peace feels more rewarding than validation. Where authenticity matters more than appearance. This is not loss of ambition. This is refinement of purpose. The prayer surrounding you right now supports this refinement. It asks that you trust your sense of direction even when it feels quiet. Quiet paths are often the most secure ones. You do not need to rush toward outcomes. You are learning to move with intention. This moment is important because it is anchoring that intention within you. You may find yourself becoming more selective with your energy. More mindful of what you give your attention to. Less interested in things that once distracted you. This is not detachment. This is focus. Someone praying for you asked that your focus remain clear and uncluttered. They ask that you recognize when something no longer aligns with your values and let it go without regret. My child, letting go does not always mean losing something. Sometimes it means making room. Room for ease. Room for balance. Room for experiences that feel nourishing rather than draining. The prayer spoken for you is creating that room slowly and naturally. You do not need to push anything away. What no longer serves you will simply fade as you become more aligned with what does. This message is reaching you because you are ready to trust that process. You are ready to believe that life can feel steady without being stagnant. That progress can feel calm without being slow. That growth can feel gentle without being weak. My child, you are learning to honor your own rhythm. You are learning that it is okay to pause, to observe, to choose thoughtfully. This rhythm suits you. It allows you to move forward without losing yourself along the way. Someone praying for you recognizes this rhythm and asks that you protect it. That you do not abandon it to meet expectations that do not align with your inner peace. This moment is important because it strengthens your connection to that inner peace. It reminds you that you do not need constant reassurance from the outside. You are learning to reassure yourself, to trust your judgment, to value your calm. And that self-trust is becoming one of your greatest strengths. My child, let this moment remain with you as a reminder that you are supported in quiet ways. That care does not always arrive loudly. That prayers spoken softly still carry power. You are moving forward with more awareness than before, more patience than before, more clarity than before. And that is enough. You do not need to rush into the next chapter. When it opens, it will feel natural, not forced. Until then, remain present. Remain grounded. Remain gentle with yourself. This moment mattered because it reminded you that your life is not meant to be lived in constant urgency. It is meant to be lived with intention, balance, and trust. Stay with that understanding. Let it guide you forward, calmly and confidently. God says, "My child, let this be the moment where everything gently settles inside you, not because every question has been answered, but because you no longer need all the answers at once." If you are still here, still listening, still feeling calm instead of restless, it means your heart has recognized something real. Someone praying for you understands that you are not looking for excitement anymore, you are looking for meaning. They understand that you want your life to feel steady, not rushed, grounded, not scattered. Their prayer carries that intention. It asks that your days feel purposeful without pressure. It asks that your mind feel clear without force. My child, you have already done the hard part. You learned how to sit with yourself. You learned how to be honest about what you feel. You learned how to let go of the need to explain your journey to everyone. Those lessons prepared you for this season of quiet confidence. This moment is important because it marks your arrival into that season. You are no longer chasing who you are meant to become. You are slowly becoming them through awareness, patience, and self-respect. Someone praying for you sees this clearly. They see that you are more centered than before. That you listen more than you speak. That you choose your words carefully. That you value peace more than being right. These are signs of wisdom, not withdrawal. My child, you are learning that you do not need to react to everything. You are learning that silence can be an answer. That space can be healing. That not every situation deserves your energy. This understanding is changing how you move through life. And the prayer spoken for you is strengthening this understanding quietly. It asks that you trust your instincts when something feels aligned. It asks that you step back when something feels heavy. You are allowed to choose ease. You are allowed to say no without guilt. You are allowed to rest without explaining yourself. This moment is important because it reminds you that your life is not meant to feel like a constant test. It is meant to feel like a journey that unfolds naturally when you honor your inner truth. My child, notice how your heart feels as you listen to these words. There is no urgency here. No pressure to act. No demand to change. That calm is intentional. It is showing you how alignment feels. Alignment does not rush you. It reassures you. It feels steady, familiar, and grounding. Someone praying for you asked that you recognize this feeling and trust it. They ask that you stop doubting moments of peace as if something must be wrong. Peace does not mean nothing is happening. It means things are happening in the right order. You are learning that now. You are learning that growth can feel gentle. That progress can feel quiet. That stability can feel comforting. My child, you are becoming someone who values depth over display. Meaning over noise. Connection over attention. This shift is shaping the future you are walking into. And that future does not need to be forced. It will open naturally as you continue honoring yourself. Someone praying for you understands that you are not meant to live in constant anticipation. You are meant to live present, aware, and grounded. Their prayer asks that you remain rooted in that presence even as life continues to move. This moment is important because it strengthens your trust in timing. You are no longer asking when everything will happen. You are learning to trust that it will happen when you are ready to receive it calmly. My child, let this final part rest gently within you. Let it remind you that unseen prayers still support you. That quiet care still surrounds you. That your life does not need dramatic shifts to be meaningful. Sometimes the most powerful changes are the ones that bring peace instead of noise. You are supported. You are guided. You are moving forward with intention, even when the path feels simple. Carry this calm with you after this message ends. Let it influence how you speak to yourself. Let it guide how you make choices. Let it remind you that you are not alone, not rushed, and not forgotten. This was your moment of reassurance, your moment of grounding, your moment of quiet clarity. And it came exactly when you were ready to receive it. Amen.